want to look at the next story here. But Dr. Bawumia promises business-centered governance, and that story there on citinewsroom.com. Let me just get right to it for you. It says, my administration will be business-centered. Bawumia speaking to Guta. Okay, now the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the new Patriotic Party flag bearer, has assured the Ghanaian business community of his plans to implement business-friendly tax reforms to boost transactions under his administration. Now, interacting with members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, in Accra on Friday, Dr. Bawumia reiterated his resolve to implement a flat rate tax system after granting tax amnesty to all businesses and individuals in 2025. He pledged to benchmark Ghana's port duties to that of Lomé port in Togo and make sure that it is at par or even lower than that country's port in order to prevent smuggling and diversion of goods and cargoes to neighboring ports. Now, the MPP flag bearer assured the business community of his plans to implement specific duties at the port on 20-footer and 40-footer containers to ensure predictability of prices of imported goods. He believes that the Bank of Ghana's gold purchasing policy, it will stabilize the local currency, that's a Citi, and ensure stable exchange rates, which will ultimately enhance price predictability. And then the story goes on there. You can go over to citinewsroom.com to read this. I'll start with you, Mensa Thompson, on this.
Yes, I think before I come to the particular story, there is this statement in the front page of the Informer attributed to Dr. Bafwa Jemanduya.
Yes.
Who is asking or urging that
all persons
putting themselves up for president,
yes,
should pass some form of psychological evaluation.
Yes.
I think I support his call 100%.
Okay, why?
Because the constitutional provision that gives the right to vote and be voted for, places a caveat on 18 years and above, and of sound mind.
Yeah.
So the two key requirements of exercising your right to vote is to be 18 years and above and of sound mind.
Okay.
If the Constitution is asking people who are just going to cast their ballot to be of sound mind, it is very, 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 very unacceptable for anybody to assume that the Constitution didn't anticipate that the people, those people of sound mind, are going to vote for should also be of sound mind.
Yeah.
And so this is basic interpretation. People of sound mind should be able to vote for sound-minded people.
Yeah.
And so, if that is not that, I think maybe we need to explore maybe this issue quite more critically by activating the interpretation powers of the Supreme Court to put clarity on this matter and give consequential orders that will make all presidential candidates in this country, be examined by an independent psychologist or an expert on their sound-mindedness.
Okay.
That being said, Dr. Bawumia's promises are becoming way too much for somebody who's already in government and in power. It's becoming too much. You cannot be in power and still be making promises. When we say incumbency advantage, it's not just an advantage of access to resources, but an advantage of having the opportunity to demonstrate what you can do. For me, that's the biggest advantage any incumbent have in any elections. That unlike your opponent, who doesn't have any power and can only talk and make promises, you, the incumbent, have access to power and the ability to demonstrate with evidence what you can do. And so for somebody with power, I think he's talking too much. And the promises of making, businesses tax-free in 2025. Please, you are under an IMF program. Okay? One of the key conditions of this IMF program is revenue mobilization. And that's why the government have been forced to introduce certain taxes like e-levy, like VAT on electricity, like a number of taxes that it has introduced. You are waking up just one day without telling us how.
But maybe the how will come.
And the impact. How are you going to?
Because the manifesto hasn't been drawn up yet. So maybe the how will come.
You see, it's just impossible. If you are not under an IMF program, then you are at liberty to do whatever you have to do.
Okay.
But you're under a program. The program has conditions and restrictions. You cannot get up and declare tax holiday for businesses. It's impossible. But why is he still telling us this?
Well, maybe,
when he knows it's impossible.
Well, maybe he's anticipating a time where we'll be out of the program and he'll be able to.
He's saying in 2025. In 2025, we will still be under the program. This program is a 3-year program.
Fair enough.
So if you say in 2025, you are going to give businesses tax holiday without telling us
exactly
how much, gap in revenue that is going to create and how you intend to finance those gaps. It's the same way during COVID. We were giving free water, free electricity, without telling us how the gap in revenue collection for ECG and Ghana Water were going to be financed. And later, they have to come back and tax us to pay. Is it going to give us a tax holiday to businesses and later turn around and tax us?
A point of information, like they are taxing us.
Yes, continue. Yeah, they are taxing us. So are you going to give businesses, free,
Please wrap it up for
free tax rebate and later turn out to tax the same businesses? Then you've bitten your tongue and chewed. You haven't chewed any meat.
Yeah. Okay.
So Dr. Bawumia should stop talking.
Okay.
If he has all the opportunity to demonstrate to us that he's going to be a different leader, and we should see that now. He's not in a position to continue giving us lectures on how impact and all other things. I mean, we are not interested in his lectures.
Okay.
They are boring, they are unattractive. He should demonstrate with actions. And when we see those actions and we analyze those actions and we believe that this is the direction the country wants to go, the people of Ghana will give him the mandate to run this country.
Fantastic. Now, off the back of what Mensah just said, the vice president is in government. Why doesn't he implement some of these things as he's in government? Immediately, my mind goes to a footballing example where you see players like Thomas Partey, you see Mohamed Kudus, you see a number of other players who don't seem to perform as well when they come to the national team, but they are prolific. In Iñaki Williams, for example, they're very prolific in certain teams and not so prolific in other teams. Maybe this is a situation that the vice president finds himself in. Being head of his own team, he may be far more prolific and deliver the deliverables.
Well, that's true. And it bothers to what I've actually, just dotted because of what my mind told me about the business-centered governance that he spoke about. But that is the way it has to be and must be and continues to be. It must be business-centered. And it starts with, it's a good call by the vice president. However, it starts with government business. I mean, this whole business thing, it starts with the government business and how you handle central government, the associated ministries, and the agencies. So what he said is good, but it's a reminder to everybody, including himself, that, governance must be business-centered, starting from, and it goes also forward, the way you approach it. Government business itself is a two-way approach. It is a government business and private sector. So these are the two major branches. Now for the government business, we're looking at the size of government to start with. Next is operational focus. What's the focus of your operations? Are you giving energies to having 30 cars to move and follow one convoy? Is that where your focus is, to show that you are governing? Is that what you want us to see? you are announcing that you have a CEO at the Cater Port where we don't see anything happening. Is that what is government business is about? I mean, so, and the cost associated with the operations.
Yeah.
So you hear huge budgets at the seat of government, huge number of people, the two have said, and what are they doing for us? Measure it. The next one is actually you look at your debts and how you are targeting it. Like I've told you every day, and I'll repeat to this morning, it's not bad. Big countries like US, China, and Japan, they have debts too. But what do you use the money for when you go and borrow it is the problem. Are you going to be struggling for me? You go and get the money and come and put a building there, and after 80% of completion, you leave it in the bush. Is that what you are going to be doing? That's government business. Are you serious with government business? That's what we are talking about. Corruption. Have you been serious with it? That's government business, in the thick of affairs. You also talk about fairness and equity in your governance. Is it present? So it's already running, and we have to see how we can revenue. You look at revenue maximization, and what are you doing by local participation and government participation? Don't just see that funny thing is that it is our agency that goes out to do the prospecting. Then we go and sell it outside to other people. Yeah. I mean, what is government participation in? It's all about finding lithium. When I see people celebrating it, we are jokers. You found lithium, so what? The moment you hear Ghana has found something, they are going to offset it to somebody else. Yeah. There's no joy again. So that's if you are not participating in it. And then the final one is transparency and accountability. These are the things I expect when you're talking about a business-centered governance, starting with you. Now, when you go to a private sector, what do they want? Security to start with. Yeah. Is there safety all around the belt for people to do business? Support and explore the value chain. I mean, people to venture into areas. To hear Ghana, I mean, gold is a Ghanaian-owned company. Lithium is a Ghanaian-owned company. Supported. Look, do you know why you have Akosombo Dam? Because of Valco. Yeah. The interest of US helping us was not because they want Ghanaians to have electricity. Yeah. Never. Far from it. Wake up from that slumber.
They needed a way to...
They needed power for Valco.
Power Valco.
Get
so that
serious.
they can produce the...
That is how another country supports their companies. Even in another country, the whole home country supports their companies in another host country. That's how serious... That is serious business. That is serious business. So if I heard anything around business-centered governance, then you have to center it around two organs. I'm looking at government and private sector. Look, I heard about flat rate. Before you think about flat rate, think about what you have right now. You see, this is textbook. I remember when the late vice president said some of the things our current vice president is saying are textbook analysis. And respectfully, I say this, they can apply. But is it in Ghana that you can apply these things? Have you prepared the grounds for it? Very good things he has said. Amnesty. Will it work with our people? Now you are saying, you continue saying it. Will GRA achieve their target when people decide to hold on to the money? Because you've promised. Yeah. And if I'm supposed to pay 1 million and the person decides that, look, they'll hold back the money, and then next year there will be amnesty for us to start the flat rate to add on, then we are in trouble. Now the final one is with the exchange rate and working around it and managing it. Well, if you go through graphics, I wonder whether our senior brother Kweku Bakun is still around in Ghana. I don't know if he's around.
Why?
Is it the media that you don't want to entertain him again or something? I mean, so because people like my respected senior can give us facts about what has been said before by the vice president about managing exchange rates, and you know, we've heard him and he's still in charge. So people would like to listen to what he's saying. But you know, so we looking at him and believing in him. Look, you remember I've said it on this platform before when you rightly said like, the time frame, but I said I actually believe that in 7 months, if somebody wants to change Ghana,
they can.
You can easily change Ghana. A lot of things can happen. And I'm still of that strong belief. I still believe that the vice president can do something because he's still in office. Like my brother said, he's the man in charge, you know, running the economy. I mean, so if he wants to do it, we should see snipers of the signs. Finally, look, my own Manchester United, when I tell you there's more time, you remember what Chelsea did to us? It is, you see, so you have a span. It's a time, if you want to score, you will score. You have to be alert all through. So the alertness of having a business-centered governance should start, and we should see it. Is he able to take that one? Okay? Take that one, and then mark himself with what he's doing now, and it should cut across to everybody else who's been in office before. if it is His Excellency John Mahama, if it is also some of those who actually are contesting, who have been ministers before, like Honorable Alan Chairman, we should pick. You can pick both small and big, and then analyze them. Okay. You see, so let's just look at them, what they've said, government business, private business. At the end of the day, I want local participation to be so tough. And one funny thing that we are not been doing is protecting our businesses. How do we do that? Nigeria sealed the ports and said, no more importation of rice. And performed wonderfully with the assistance of a Ghanaian, Honorable Odum.
Wow.
And they hit a boom, a rice boom. You need to take some risk and give it your energy. So let's look at that.
All right.
Maybe he's looking forward to doing it.